Now then, I'm halfway through my spring refit. We've got the bottom of the boat well underway, and I'm just looking at my chain cable now. It's been a couple of years since I've had the cable in hand, and really that's probably too long. You should look at it every year, but I've been busy. So I'm getting it out. Here it is, coming out of the boat, and I've laid it out on the ground in lengths that I can recognise, which is 1 fathom, and a fathom is that. It's 6 feet. Natural sort of length, same length as 2 cloth-yard arrows from the medieval archers, and it was good enough for Nelson's Navy, and it's good enough for millions and millions of Americans, so don't knock it. If you like meters, fine, use them. But for anchoring purposes, I like fathoms, and here's why. When I anchor, I'm never going to want to lay less than 10 fathoms of cable. That's 60 feet, so what's that in meters? About 17 or 18 meters. My first mark comes at 10 fathoms, and that's nice because a lot of cable goes out before you get to 10 fathoms. If you've measured it in meters, you've got marks going out all over the place, and they've all got to have some specific thing that you can't forget. It's hopeless. Big fat mark at 10 fathoms, and that's good. You can easily do a quick mental arithmetic sum to get it down to meters if you feel you have to. Next mark's at 15, then 20 and 25 and so on until I get near the end. It's as simple as that. And the reason I do it is for simplicity on the cable. I navigate in meters. Everybody does on this side of the Atlantic, but that's what I'm going to do here. Mark in fathoms. So here we go. Cable's all out now, and it's all laid out beautifully on the ground. Me and my mate Richard have been doing this. We've got the marks, place where the marks are going to go. They're sticking out, and we're just going to get the paint now and get it marked.
So here's 40 fathoms of the finest, all laid out ready. The little tufts at the end are where we're going to mark it, and here is how we're going to set about the job.
See what we've done here. We've got a simple cardboard box, and we've cut some slots in it to support the chain. This is the first mark. This is the 10 fathom mark, and it holds it. It clears the ground. It makes sure we don't make a mess of everything. And I'm just going to spray my first mark. That's it, and we'll let that just sit there happily for a minute or two, and then we'll turn it over and do the other side. There we are, time for the other side. And that's my first mark, ready to go. Right, we've got the chain cable all marked up, all the way to the end, with one very long mark about 15 feet from the very end of the cable, because when that one hits the windlass, you've got to wind the brake on. You don't want any more over the side than that. Okay, what we're going to do now, this swivel, which is working fine and was quite an expensive swivel, but it's been on the cable for a long time, and I think it's time it was changed. So I've bought a more sophisticated modern swivel, which I'm quite looking forward to having a look at. It's in the box at the moment. The first job is to get this one off. I've taken the seizing wire off the shackle, and I'm going to give the shackle a heave now. Now this shackle, you'll notice, it's a bow shackle, and the reason it's there, rather than putting this end of the swivel onto the anchor directly, is because if the boat swings a long way on the anchor, there's a possibility that this will catch and spring itself open. It's been known to happen. It's a weakness of this type of swivel. So to obviate that possibility, we put this on, and it can move around there quite freely if it needs to. It must be said that it's quite probable that the stainless steel pin in that swivel is stronger than this shackle. which is a grade up from it, but it's only galvanised steel. So, well, it's not actually. It's America's finest. It's a very good shackle, but it's not as strong as that. So one way and another, we're going to do away with all that with the new swivel. But right now, the job is to get the pin off. So I've got to undo this way. So I'm swiveling the shackle around so it's banged up against the stock of the anchor. Around there, isn't it? That's it. Right, so it's set in lanolin, so it should move. There it goes. Notice we're using an adjustable spanner with parallel jaws, so we're not graunching the head of the shackle. If you use pliers or something, you can't get a proper grip on it. And also you mash the head of the shackle. Always use an adjustable spanner with nice parallel jaws. There we are. Well, it went on, so it must come off. Well, we're all done. The chain's all ready to go. I've put a fine new swivel on as well between the chain and the anchor. I've had some doubts about my swivel, and you can't take any chances, can you? Because if you're fast asleep and the gale blows up and the shackle gives and the swivel lets go, you're on the shore. But you know, standing here, holding onto my nice strong chain cable and looking at this lovely long mark I've put on it, that's the mark that tells me I'm very nearly out of chain. Many years ago, I was involved in a race. Roz was there and all my old shipmates, and we were all on the boat, and there was no wind at all. So we started off at Cowes and we all went drifting down to the westward. 30, 40 boats, big boats, gaff rigged, all drifting away to the west with the ebb tide. And the really classy guys just managed to find a whisper of breeze and got into a bay called Gurnard, and they dropped their hooks. But the likes of me and many others couldn't get in there, and we just had to keep on going, or anchor. And we decided we'd anchor. Well, it was 85 feet deep, so we dropped the pick, and we had about, I don't know, 35 fathoms of chain cable. That's 180, 210 feet to you. So it's a bit dodgy. Is it going to hold or isn't it? Well, we let go about 2/3 of our chain, and that's a lot of chain out. And the CQR anchor, which was 35 pounds, we could hear it singing as it went along the bottom because the bottom was rocky and it wasn't going to get a grip. And I'm looking at the race dropping out of the bottom of my bottle, and one of my mates says, "Should we let go some more cable?" Chap on the foredeck that was, a bloke called Norman. And I said, "Yeah, all right, Norman, give her a bit more." And he let some more go until we only had 5 fathoms left in the locker, and he still wasn't holding. And I knew it was strongly supported. The cable was tied on with a great big strong piece of rope and bolted through what I thought was a good frame. I said, "Give her the works, give her the beans, Norman, give her the lot." So out it went, rattle, 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 bang, and it got to the end of the cable, and there was a sort of quiet noise. I can't describe it any other way. And a knot came out of the horsepipe with a rusty bolt on the end of it, and the whole lot went over the side, and that was the end of my cable and my anchor. And Norman, he looked at me and he said, "Didn't you want it then?" Well, I tell you what, he didn't get his rum that night. But things didn't work out so badly, because we drifted away down 7-8 miles to the westward on the tide, right all the way to the Needles Channel, where the Solent opens out to the wide English Channel. And I could see the sea breeze coming in from the westward. The sea was going dark to the west, and it was soon going to be blowing force 3 or 4. We got a load of buckets and we dragged the boat round. She wasn't steering, you see, she was going nowhere. But we dragged her round until she was stern to what was coming, because it was going to be a dead run up the Solent. And we spread every stitch we could get, got all the poles out and everything, and fanged it all down and stood there like a great white bird waiting for the wind. And it came whispering out of the west, and it picked us up. The sails just kicked, and then they filled, and soon they were like great pregnant bellies dragging us away to the eastward. And we roared up the Solent with that wind. And 200 yards ahead of us, you could see there wasn't a breath of air. And we carried the wind, and we carried it right through the fleet that were all anchored in Cunliffe Bay, going nowhere. And we got the gong. We won a case of beer and a nice silver cup. And you couldn't have had a better day out. It was a pity about the anchor, but that's another story. Well, cheerio. We've done well here. We're going to put it all back on board in the morning. I'm off to the pub now. Good night.